Dr. Kriesman, we spend a lot of time on our temporaries.
Yes.
And I get a lot of feedback from patients who are going through that. No one really loves the temporary process because of the way they feel.
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
They don't actually feel like the permanents are going to feel. I can remember when I actually had temporaries in my mouth, the first thing I thought of when I was done was, oh my gosh, is this what veneers are going to feel like? And it really almost freaked me out for a little while. Luckily, when I got my permanent veneers, they felt super smooth and super, actually better than my natural teeth when I finally got my veneers put on. The veneers that you did for me, as a matter of fact. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But let's talk about the temporaries and some of the questions people might have regarding that. Number one, how do they feel?
Well, dental temporaries, like you just said, they don't feel like the final result, but they are a good representation of what the final teeth are gonna feel and look like.
So they're made of a bisacrylic, which is really just an acrylic. You know, an acrylic is more porous, you know, versus porcelain is more shiny. So
right.
They look really good. Our temporaries look awesome. They look really good, but they don't feel.
They're going to feel a little more rough.
Right.
They're going to feel a little more rough. Right. And that's just that's a temporary thing. I mean, it's a short-term thing, but given the material that we have to make it out of, it's just not going to be quite as smooth. So when the final restorations go on, everything's going to feel like crystal smooth glass.
I know one question that I get, people is, well, why do I have to wait so long in these temporaries, you know? And a good explanation for that is that high-end, elite-level dentistry takes a long time to make. There's a lot of process from the day that we do the first procedure, which is actually preparing the teeth for veneers,
right.
and then actually sending that off to our master ceramist. There's a lot of work that goes into creating your artwork. I mean, do you get that question a lot? And why so long?
Well, sure. I mean, let's face it. No one wants to be in that phase. The temporaries are a short process, but when you're in them, it can seem like an eternity. We understand that. It's really not. The reason it takes so long is there's two things that happen. First of all, behind the scenes, the ceramist is creating beautiful porcelain veneers that are gonna just knock your socks off. But it's also the ability for us to create and communicate what your desires are. You know, we can look at pictures and photos and things like that, but until you actually have them in your mouth and see them and let us look at them, we can't really communicate length and shape as well on a picture as we can in your mouth. So sometimes we get pictures, or sometimes we have people who think they want really square teeth, and when they have them in their mouth, they don't like them. Well, those temporaries allow us to work through those nuances and change the things that you want, because in your mind you know exactly what you want your smile to look like, and that's what we do. We create that using the temporaries.
I think that's a good point, though. What you sometimes think is going to look good, like people bring me photos and they say, I want this smile, and then we kind of say, okay, we go that direction, but then we actually transpose that onto them.
Right.
We find that sometimes it's not the best fit.
Right.
And we have to go back and say, all right, now we made them a little too square or too round or too long, too short. Let's tweak that now before we get to the final stage, which is why we have a bunch of raving reviews and everyone loves our smiles that we create. It's because we spend so much time in the preparation phase getting to that final stage.
Right. You know, invariably, consultation after consultation, I have people bring in photos or from magazines. They like ripped out magazines of smiles that they thought were beautiful, and they are beautiful smiles on that model, but not necessarily on them. And so that's what those temporaries allow us to do. They allow us to show the patient, hey, you may think this is a really great smile, but it's just not a great smile for you.